better. All right. So we're going to start with, like I said, quick introductions, brief history, what brings you to e-democracy, name, just some general stuff. Feel free to take your time answering.
Okay. Well, my name is Corinne Bruning. Where should I be looking? At the center or at
Just
the
look what you were doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, my name's Corinne Bruning, and I'm the outreach manager for e-democracy. And I came to e-democracy for a couple of reasons. Basically, mostly I use the forums as a way to connect with my neighborhood in Powderhorn. I found out about the forums from my boyfriend, which is funny because I'm much more of a community-oriented person than he is. And he told me, you know, here's a space online where you can go and find out more about what's going on in the neighborhood. And so I joined the forum, and within 2 weeks of me joining the forum, there was this incident that happened in my local neighborhood park, Powderhorn Park. And basically the incident was a mother was cross-country skiing with her 2 kids, and 4 teenagers came out and attacked her, and actually sexually attacked her. And I found out about this news from the forum and read the articles that were in the local papers online. And those articles, at the bottom of the articles, the way people were talking about the incident and talking about the youth were sickening to me, because there were people saying things like we should hang those kids, or just discussing things, and a lot of assumptions were made about the backgrounds and the color of the skin of the youth themselves when that information wasn't even released. Whereas the conversation that was happening on the forum about what happened was much deeper. People were discussing how they were feeling, how they were fearful of going into the park themselves, how they didn't want to be digesting this experience themselves, and let alone, you know, feeling for the mother and her family alone, and to let it keep them from the park. Because if everyone decided to just stay in their houses because they were fearful because of the incident, it would only perpetuate the problem, and it wouldn't help, you know, the issue of youth who were experiencing issues at home that caused them to do such horrible things. So the people on the forum, including me, decided to organize a peace vigil. And we ended up doing that within 5 days using Facebook. There was a person who was a journalist and did a huge press release and brought in the media. The vigil ended up being an amazing experience for people to connect with each other. And it was in November, so it was 9 degrees that day. We had fire pits to keep people warm. People kept each other warm. And we actually had, there was a friend who posted a letter from the mom who was attacked, and so we read that at the peace vigil. And the mom was actually going through a restorative justice program at the time, and she said, you know, me and my kids are doing okay, we're healing, and what I'd like to see happen is for people to think about the youth. And think about what was going on in their lives at that time when this happened. And so the following day there was a huge community meeting, and people talked about what was needed to help youth who were not getting help in this way. And ever since then there's been a group called the Southside Youth Worker Engagement Group that's been meeting to try to find gaps in youth programming and help professionalize the field of youth work. And for me, what that experience of interacting with e-democracy over this kind of big story that happened, and this big reality that happened in my neighborhood, kind of just transformed the way that issues can be processed within the community, with depth, with action, with solutions. I wanted more of that, and Luckily, Stephen Cliff, the executive director, contacted me after this experience, and ever since then I've been working with eDemocracy, doing outreach, trying to tell people about the power of this tool to connect communities.